It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. I have a really special treat for you guys tonight, or today, this morning, because you know your girl's not used to streaming in the morning anymore. I have a really special treat for you guys this morning. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm just going to send them an email and then they're going to come on. And if nobody's here when they come on, that's okay because y'all can catch the replay. So hold on. Hey, Katie, stay with me, girl. Don't leave. To D. @gmail.com. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Hey guys, please ignore the howling in the background. I'm sorry about that, y'all. It's noon here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and when it's noon in Little Rock, Arkansas, the tornado sirens go off. So you're just going to have to listen to this howling dog symphony for a second. Are y'all done yet? Hey, Missa, will you go into the Discord and let everyone know I'm live? We're having a special guest on today. I'm going to wait till he gets here to introduce him, but I wanted to talk with you guys real fast. So if you can't tell, I'm a little anxious right now. So as you can see, I've got 4 dogs, okay? I've got 2 little dogs and 2 very large dogs. And one of my very large dogs over the weekend had to go to the hospital. She had to go to the hospital and ended up costing $1,000 to get her all lined out. Okay, and you guys know I don't have $1,000 laying around anywhere. Okay. So what we had to do is we had to hold on, you guys. Our special guest is entering the building. I had to stream. I got you.
Hey. Did it work?
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm on.
Yeah, it works. I just have.
Is it lagging?
I don't know. I can't. Hold on. Let me see. It might be. It freezes up sometimes.
That might be better. Is that better?
Hold on. Yeah, that's good. So what's up, Derek? Welcome to my channel.
What's up?
I have to tell you.
Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah.
I titled the video, or it's going to be titled, 2 of the recovery community's very own put principles before personalities.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
You like that? I like that.
It feels good. It feels good. It feels good to really live this, you know?
I totally understand. And I don't know if a lot of people understand why we haven't been on each other's channels. And I don't want to go into anything that happened in the past. I just want to say, me and Derek, we struggled because we have a lot of the same opinions, but we also have some opinions that are different. And I have made a lot of mistakes on my time on YouTube with just being overbearing, with trying to force my message of recovery on other people. And I just wanted to come on and share with you guys that if I can own up to my mistakes and apologize and try to make it right, then I think that all of us can do that. And I just want you to know, Derek, how much I appreciate you for coming on my channel, because I know that I am dramatic sometimes, and I know that I am.
Don't make me laugh.
While I'm like literally crying, I cannot help it. It's just like, it just is what it is. And I know sometimes people can look at me as a liability, but I really do just want to help other people,
I know you do. I know you
And
do.
so,
You're absolutely right. I mean, I do it too. I think the best thing I can say is, like, I think there was a big miscommunication, and it became when like, if we have troubles, we're going through something. Like, I've learned a lot from this in a good way, and I have to thank you for that, because it's taught me a lot about the environment. I mean, really, where you were coming from. I think ultimately your message was to try and protect and to try and help. I really do think ultimately. I think, though, personalities do get in the mix, and it's not just ours. At that point, when it became a public thing, it's now becoming, what does YouTube think? Now we've got people kind of pushing this thing, and it's like, if we were in a fight in the middle of a ring, there's people on the outside, and as soon as you're like, no, I'm trying to leave, they're like, you better finish what you started. You know what I mean? And so it's like,
for sure.
Right. And I was like, okay. Plus, there was the whole, I don't really want to mention other YouTube names because I really love everyone out there. And everybody, I mean, there's people I definitely disagree with their slant. They think that there's cures for things that I wouldn't make those kind of opinions unless I was a medical professional, those type of things. And they may have had influence during that time. There was a lot that was going on. I'm just glad to be here. And to be part of your recovery. You're part of my recovery. And this process has taught me a lot. And what I've done is I've taken what was once a vlog and just strictly about Derek and my journey. And I said, you know what? Why don't I have Nicole on my channel? You're bringing me on yours. Let's have you come to mine. Let's see I don't care about anything that's ever happened, because we're still going to make mistakes. We're not done. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
But I want to hear what your life was like. And I want to delve into probing about Nicole. I want to ask Rock and Roberta. I want to ask Jessica Kent. I want to ask Philip Markov, CG Kid. I want to ask all the people I can get my hands on the YouTube community that are in the recovery community. I want to get them in and say, hey, what was your experience with this? What did it feel like? Why were you chasing that? Maybe talk about some things that you went through and where you are today, and just kind of go through somewhat of a, what they do in meetings where they say what happened, or what it was like, what happened, what it's like now. Except I don't want to take it, because I don't want someone to go, oh, now you're talking 12 step. I'm not doing that angle. I do want to ask things that in a meeting you may not. It's borderline, kind of like what CG Kid does. Some of that stuff he does is a little, you wouldn't bring that into a meeting. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Totally.
I want to bring that up, though. I think it's important those things are discussed. Maybe you got to give them a trigger warning and say, hey, if you're easily triggered, you may not want to watch this. But nonetheless, I think it's important people understand, because a lot of people on the outside who are our family members, they don't understand, and maybe they'll see a glimpse into the mind of an addict.
Right. And I think that, okay, so I know for me on my channel, I talk a lot about what I believe in that has worked for me, like with the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not a representation of them. I'm not speaking for them, but I absolutely believe in the program. I believe that it can help restore your life, your living, it can teach you how to live your life again, even if you're not a drug addict. If you're just a regular person and you need guidance in your life, the 12 steps can help you with any vice that you're struggling with. And so what I think is happening on YouTube is I think that we are also focused on sharing about what we did in our addiction, everybody knows what we did in our addiction. What are we doing now to stay sober?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I have kind of like shared parts of the big book study that I do on Monday nights and just reading it. I'm just reading it and sharing that knowledge with the viewer. They can take it or they can leave it. But I'm not like, and then I share on Fridays the Mara meeting, you know, because I have people who are on Suboxone and methadone, and I'm on Suboxone, and I want people to know that they can find support in any program, really. It's like I was holding myself back from getting the support in these programs by focusing on what these small-minded people were saying. That's not a representation of the whole program itself. Those are just a few people that want to talk out the side of their neck. So I think that if we can take like the addiction part and then the recovery part and put them equally together, then that's what we need to do, because I feel like we can reach the drug addict that's still struggling in active addiction with what we've gone through and our experience, but we also need to pull them over to the other side and say, well, now that I told you that I used to shoot drugs in my neck, let me tell you about how I quit and what I'm doing to stay sober.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I love that angle because what I personally do in my channel is I kind of, you know how you've got 12 steps, our big book. I'm personally, this is my opinion, and this is my opinion. We can all have opinions. I like the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous better than I do the Narcotics Anonymous text. Okay, personally,
Right.
I fell in love with that originally. And I remember reading it a long time ago. I actually got clean in AA. I went to NA too, don't get me wrong, but it was like, I loved AA. I loved the people. There was something about that message and reading about Bill and Bob that really got me like, wow. What I did is I recognized that there's like anything, there's a cult following, or they try to like say, this is a cult, this is that, this is this. I took the principles that they're laying out that make me stay clean, and I dumb them down into a 101. So what I do is, rather than like promoting how I stayed clean, what I did is I said, I try to make it into dummy terms. And I say, okay, guys, you know what helped me? I was honest. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't go, hey, step 2, like now it sounds like you're structuring something, and it almost turns some people away because they don't speak that structure. They want to hear, man, dude, yeah, I was sucking, but you know what? I told my wife. I told her, man. I didn't want to tell her, but I told her. And they're like, they're following you on that. And they're like, what'd you tell her? Oh, I told her, man, I stole her money out of her purse, and I need help. And oh, wow. And that's the same thing as saying step 1, I'm powerless. So instead of saying step 1, and I saying the book that you and me both know inside and out, I just said, you know what? I told my wife I can't do this anymore. I'm sucking. And I opened up and I was like, you know what? I need help. So then they were encouraging me to go and get help. And so I decided I'd go to a 12-step meeting or whatever, you know, because whatever that might work for you, that's what I took. You know, that's what I did is I tried to dumb it down. I sifted these things into a more modern, simplified context that really is more personal, because they probably want to hear Nicole say, you know, at that moment, I was talking to myself, whether it was some spirit or being that was listening to me or not. I just cried out for help inside, and I was open-minded to maybe something was listening. And that's like saying step 2 and then step 3, kind of, because you're open-minded to something greater than yourself, and you're taking I'm willing to try something different. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do.
I do know it. I see what you're saying, and I do feel like I probably lose a lot of people, and I can admit this because I do. I feel like, and this is what's happened to me over the years, because I was in and out, relapse, get sober, is that for a long time I got this like brainwashing that the only way that I could get sober was if I went through AA or NA. And if I didn't get it through abstinence, then I wasn't getting it at all. And that meant that my recovery was not valid. And that, you know, until I got sober through abstinence, then I wasn't going to be able to share my story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so now I almost feel like what I try to do is that I try to show that And I know that you're the same way I am, because I know even though you're abstinent, I know because your brother's going through the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you know when it's like directly connected to you and you're emotionally attached to the person that's going through it, and you see that person struggle to get sober through abstinence for so many years and they can't do it. It's like, why the hell not? Would you encourage them to get help another way? You know,
Thank you.
I just want to help people to know that they can be on maintenance and they can also be in a program of recovery that is, you know, AA, NA, CA, HA, MARA, which is a huge thing that's coming out now. They have these amazing meetings that are popping up all over the United States where it's medically assisted recovery anonymous, and they have their own 12 steps. They have their own meeting format and everything. And so I feel like we all need in the recovery community to get on the same page, because we all, hey, you have 14,000 subscribers, I have 1,000 something subscribers,
You're like 2,000.
Roberta has 4,000 subscribers, you know, and if we could all like join together and start sharing our message in unison, because we're all saying the same thing, then we could help so many people. Think about it. Your 14,000, 15,000, CG Keith's 200,000. I mean, that's like 1 million people basically with all of our channels. But what we've been trying to do is separately do it. Mm-hmm. And that's like not going to work. We have to come together. And I know that it's hard to come together with somebody like me who's loud and obnoxious sometimes, but I'm telling you, like, I want to help people and I want to be in the group with everybody. And I want to, like, I love shouting other people's channels out. I love sharing other people's content. I want other people to find what works for them, find somebody they can relate to, because I know that not everyone's going to relate to me. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, I find that very important that we have a variety. I've always, and I remember when the day happened on my channel where I said, you know, I get so many people who were writing me at that time when before that time that everything went down, there were so many people reaching out that I actually started plugging your channel, other channels, saying there's more than me, because I'm telling you, Nicole, I was getting 50 to 100 people a week really like reaching out. It was really overwhelming at times. I was like, okay, let's get some more people who can involve themselves and people can relate. I know a lot more females would definitely, not saying there aren't males, but a lot more females would probably relate to you a lot more in many ways. You know, you doing your makeup and talking about this stuff. People really, no, I mean, but seriously, people like girls are, I'm gonna do my makeup and listen to Nicole. The guys are probably going to come on and listen to me, and they're going to be like, hey, yeah, bro, I totally get it. And so we all need to bring in a flavor. What my aim is, and I think this is important on why I have been successful in terms of so far. I mean, I'm not, and I know where I've gone wrong even on my channel. CG Kid attracts. He doesn't promote. And that's like that whole motto, attraction rather than promotion. He attracts so far that even people in recovery are like, that's an area I'm not sure I want to go in, you know. And I've began to realize I think it's a correct path in which to go. Maybe warn someone and let them know, hey, some of this content's going to be controversial. It's very difficult to swallow. You're going to hear some real raw footage, but at the same time, it's very therapeutic. I've been interviewing Dr. B on my channel too, which was amazing because I didn't even know he was on your channel. And he talks, dude, he's great. He does harm reduction. He also talks about the maintenance side of things. And you know, we talked about that briefly. I'm torn because I can listen to one person and they will tell me how it didn't work for them, and how it was actually something in their experience wasn't good. And so they usually will push their influence onto this substance and go, And then you hear the other side of things. I'm alive today. I have my family today. Everything's going in the right direction because I was able to be saved by this substance. And so I did a video yesterday. I haven't launched it yet. I was sitting in the car on my mountain that I live right here in Washington State. It's a nice view. And I thought to myself, I was torn, and I wanted to do a torn between maintenance and abstinence video because so many people go, hey, that substance, this. And what I was thinking of was let's forget methadone and Suboxone and kratom for a second. Yeah, I threw them all three together because you hear those are the main three.
Right.
Let's stop thinking about that for a second. Someone wants to quit smoking cigarettes. Okay, it's killing them. You can't deny that it kills you. It's just subtle and it's over time. Whereas heroin or fentanyl is quicker and it's deadly. We know that you could overdose at any time. And I thought to myself, all right, you want to quit smoking cigarettes. Well, you've got those who quit cold turkey, and they tell everyone, if you don't stop all nicotine at all cost, you're not part of this whole, I'm really in this recovery to get off cigarettes. Then you got some people who start vaping. They vape because it's a better alternative. Now, does vaping nicotine change your mind? Yeah, it does. If you know about nicotine, it does alter the way your mind works, and it does relieve some of the stress temporary. This is why when you get off of cigarettes or off of nicotine, like I did, your emotions are all over the place. Your temper is quick. You are, I don't know how to put it, but you're very on edge, and anything could set you
quit
off.
smoking cigarettes. It was probably like November of last year. It's almost been a year since I've been stopped smoking cigarettes.
Awesome.
And the reason I quit was because the doctor put me on Wellbutrin for my depression. And one day I was smoking the cigarettes and it tasted like straight shit. I'm serious. And I was like, I don't want these. And then I stopped buying them. And then I stopped bumming them, and then I just stopped. And I was like, that was easy. But I'm telling you, any other time, I couldn't do it. I smoked for 17 years. And just the Wellbutrin helped me so much.
Well, this is so important what you're talking about here in this line of what I'm saying, because people who've gone completely abstinent off of cigarettes, all right, and they've actually made it, I guess they have a voice. Okay, they have a voice, and usually it's a lot of times abstinence only. Okay, but what about the guys who are vaping or the girls that might vape? All right, they don't smoke cigarettes, but they vape, and then they push it over onto the whole substance thing and say kratom, Suboxone, methadone. You're not in recovery. Well, when we know that cigarettes are mind altering, they do alter the state of your mind. Maybe not in the obviously to the extreme heroin or fentanyl does, but at what point do you draw the line on abstinence? You're abstinent on your choice drug. Do you mean that I can't vape nicotine? Why am I talking?
That's been a huge argument for me forever, because you know how many alcoholics that have 20 years sober are on painkillers, Xanax, coffee, cigarettes. I mean, they take them as prescribed. They take their Xanax as prescribed, but they've got 25 years strong sober in AA.
Yes, and they may need those things. I am no doctor. And I guess it does come down to the individual, because if you're on a path of recovery or destruction. I looked up the word relapse, and relapse does not even, if you look up the definition, yeah, they equate it and connect it to drugs, but relapse is you're on a path you're up. Let's look at it like this, an analogy. You're climbing uphill and you actually slip. You slide back a little. It's a backslide. That's all relapse is. It doesn't mean you had to take a substance. It can be behaviors. And if you find out from neuropsychotherapists and all that, how addiction works, it's a behavior thing. And this is why when you go to meetings, they say, hey, these drugs are a symptom of our problem. The problem is an underlying problem. Well, why do we keep relapsing? Why do we keep using? Even though we know not to do it, we do it again. It's behaviors and the way that our brains are I guess you'd say wired. They now rewired from the addiction. So that's why I titled my show Rewired Addiction, Changing the Addict's Mind. I did that because it's going to take action to rewire the brain.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you called it rewired addiction, since the rewired soul has got all that backlash, have you got backlash too? Have people thought you were connected?
I think 2 people in the lifetime of my channel mentioned you shouldn't have named it that. Now, I didn't know. I really didn't know. And I seriously was talking to people who know about the wiring of the brain. And Dr. B talks about it, the frontal lobar cortex connecting to the midbrain. That rewiring is necessary for success. And so Yeah, I've caught some crap about that, but anyone who watches my stuff, they know.
Oh, you're totally different than he started out on the right path.
Right.
He was helping people. He really, and then this is what I see happen with so many people that are in recovery who have a platform though, is they start out on the right path. They're helping addicts. They're in it for the right reason. And then something shifts, and I don't know if it's greed, money, I don't know if it's ego. No, I do know what it is. It's ego. That's what it is.
Right.
Takes over, and then they are more focused on being heard than helping. You know what I'm saying? And I think I've even had times where I've gotten caught up and it's like an addiction to be right. Like I have to prove that I'm right, and whenever I finally was like, I can stop being right, either people are going to understand what I'm saying or they're not, and I don't have to prove my rightness to anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's when I started being able to let go of those kind of things. But it's like that. What happens is I see it happen like with Chris. The ego comes in and it just takes over and you're blinded. It's like when you're in that, and I know because I've been blinded by my own ego, that you can't see anything but your way. You can't see any other way. People can bring it to you no matter how they want to deliver it. And it doesn't matter until you get out of that mindset that you're in. It's like a stage or a phase that you go through. And when you come out of that and you look back and then you see how stupid you look. I mean, I see how detrimental I was to my own recovery and other people's recovery because I was so aggressive with my message. And it was like, you have to understand my message this way but it came from a place of trying to help, but I totally screwed up because I was like trying to almost take the message and stick it in your mouth, close your mouth and make you chew it and then swallow it down. And people don't want to be force fed. They want to be able to choose what they hear,
If you want people to choose your message, I realize, how they say change the world, all you got to do is change yourself. You truly just live it and show it and express it in a loving way that is so non-confrontational that it works. I love Chris, honestly. I think, I hope that this doesn't cause him any struggles down the road because I know that it's tough, but I disagree with a lot of the method that he comes at this with. He's correct that a lot of rehabs don't allow certain things, like with recent messages he talked about. But I do agree with CG Kid on this. And I think that I'm a little more progressive when it comes to the approach on these things because, like I said, at what point do you draw the line and call yourself clean? Are you absolutely not medicating with anything that's mind altering? Well, only if it's a substance that is a narcotic. Oh, well, you're drawing the line there, but rehabs themselves are using Suboxone methadone to try and taper people off. And we're finding out more and more about how Suboxone should be used. So my thing is I actually and purposefully have made my channel avoid on purpose any conflict or confrontation with another channel. In fact, even when me and you had our hiccups, if you go back on my channel, you'll see that I still left videos up that I mentioned you and your channel. I mentioned channels like CG Kid the first time I plugged you and CG Kid and Rock and Roberta and others all in one video. And I told myself, I'm not going to change how I view them just because we've had hiccups, because I know you were coming from a place where you care. And I think 6 or 7 years ago when I went through AA originally, before I got really religious, that's a whole nother topic I might eventually open up on my channel, is that I was addicted. I switched my addiction from drugs to religion. And that's a whole nother, I know that sounds a little crazy, but you don't have to take a substance to be addicted. We know this. People are addicted to gambling. People are addicted to eating, sex, all these different things,
Food. Hello.
Right. So I just say that to say, like, I went into where I thought, I got an associate's degree in biblical studies and theology because I delved into this. I was going to be a pastor. I was very, very intense about the religion. And if you look up my name on YouTube, I'll have to do a video on this sometime. I think it's important. I'm not knocking faith whatsoever, and I'm not knocking anyone's belief system. I'm saying I was extreme. I took it like if you're prescribed Percocet and you take 2 a day, like the doctor says, or 4 a day, whatever, I took 20. I took 12. I sniffed them when you're supposed to only swallow them. I found ways to do things I shouldn't. Well, with the religion, I took it to the max. And there's videos on YouTube. I kept them on there. There's a channel where I grew a full beard. I was a hard. Yes, I wish I could pull this up for you. Hold on, I'm gonna just pull it up for you, just for the heck of it, so you can at least see. You can see it on my Facebook too. I'm not kidding. You know, this is like I know for a fact I traded my I was not balanced.
You had an obsession with the religion. It's just like your addiction, a mental obsession.
Absolutely.
We do it. I mean, I do it with all kinds of things. I mean, my addiction manifests itself in different areas of my life at different times. I'll go through phases where I'm addicted to posting YouTube videos. I'll go through phases. And I'll be on here like 6 times a day, and people are being like, she's addicted to YouTube. I mean, let me ask you this, Derek.
Yeah.
How do you handle when people are like just outright hateful towards you? Like, I'm talking psychotic. Or do you not get that?
I truly, at the moment, of course, I probably get upset and I'll just hide them from my channel if it touches a chord. A lot of times I see they're sick. I see that they don't have to be a drug addict to be sick. Humanity is sick. You know, this is why they separate us. Oh, we're drug addicts and they're non-drug addicts. There's a separation there. There's a saying that if Jesus lived today, okay, and he performed a miracle in front of people today, and both guys are blind, and he pulls one guy over here and he picks up some mud or dirt on the ground, spits, puts it in his eyes and says, go wash it in the pool. And the next guy comes up and he just puts his hand on his face and says, you're healed. We would call the man who was healed with mud a Muddite and the other one an anti-Muddite. It's just the way we work. It's humanity. We divide. And so the way I look at it is people are sick. And I think ignorance plays a big role on that, and educating people to try and learn, look, we're all different in many ways, but we're one humanity. It's a very complex thing. So I don't know if you can see, but it's tough to see, but I was very, very religious.
That's you?
That's me, but my beard got way longer than that, and I was a Calvinist, hardcore.
That doesn't look like you.
Yeah, I know.
It does, but it doesn't. You know, with a beard, it makes your face look so different.
Well, look, I let it get a little bit wild right now, but yeah.
So let me ask you this question, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but
okay.
I know for me, I truly believe, and I'm not very religious at all, but I believe in God. Mm-hmm. And I believe that because I became willing to work on myself, and I became willing to believe in a power greater than myself, I believe that God started working in my life long before I ever got sober. Like, he is the one who delivered my son without drugs in his system. He is the one who had DHS come to my door and remove my child from my care. Those were his acts, only in the flesh, because I had to have that happen to wake me up. And now I believe that that there's something out there. I guess I call it God, but you guys can call it whatever y'all want to, that is looking out after me and helps guide me on my path, because otherwise I'm a hot mess without it.
Yeah, I'll put it like this. You're going to have to make the check out to Derek Lambert. Here's the address, because this is going to cost you. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm going to put it like this. It's very complicated, Nicole, where I'm at. I've studied this for a long time. I've been researching this. The more I know that I don't know. And I'm very okay where I'm at today, because I don't have all the answers. I used to have all the answers. Today, I don't have all the answers. That's okay. I'll put it like this. There's some wisdom in all belief systems this world has to offer. Every single one of them teaches some wisdom. There's also some things I'm glad we don't continue today in all these religious systems. Women do not have to wear head coverings, or they will shame their spouse in doing so. And this is in the New Testament. So there's certain things I'm glad we don't require that are not wrapped around us today. Now, back to the question of God. I always like to ask people, when you say God, what do you mean? Because it
I
gets
mean, like I mean, like everything. That's
okay.
God. The
I
tree, the sky, the air, everything.
Right. Now that is a very good answer, though. I like that answer because a lot of people have this image of a granddaddy sitting on a cloud in the sky. You see what I'm
Man,
saying? And
I
so,
used to think that he was like Santa Claus, some white man with a beard, but now I think that he is everything. I think he is a force to be a I think he is like he is you can't describe it.
right,
It's just is, and it's like almost like this force that like I don't know how to explain it. It's so beyond my mind that I can't explain it. But I was raised up to think that he was like some man with a long beard with a white gown on and those Jesus shoes. And I was raised up not cutting my hair, not wearing makeup, not wearing
right.
pants. I had to wear dresses. I had to wear no jewelry. I mean, it was primitive. Okay, like
We
I
know
was.
you put makeup on now.
Oh hell yeah, man! I slammed it all over my face. But now, like, I'm fresh faced this morning because
No,
you
you're
know,
fine.
I just woke up and I was like, let's do this stream.
Let's do
But
it.
um, I think because I was raised up so like that, those were like the years of my life that were like I was shaping myself. I was young, and
Right.
so I rebelled against that when I got old enough to do what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? But I believe that God is just everything. I believe that like I could even call him like the universe, nature, the trees, the air, the whole space. I mean, I just think it's this like force. I don't know how to explain it any other way than that.
I like that, and I'll just piggyback off what you said there, and I'll agree with that definition because I respect people's faiths, and it's a touchy, very sensitive. It's like to me, it's like talking politics, and I don't like to do that because, oh Lord, have mercy. If you have a view that's different and you really hold it sacred, and someone speaks something that you don't hold sacred, therefore you now are touching a very touchy subject. It's almost like you're talking about their mom or their dad in a negative way. Don't do that. And I don't want to ever do that because I respect everyone's personal belief systems. But I will say this. I heard this in an actual Joe and Charlie speaker tape.
I
And
love those speaker tapes. Like I'm obsessed.
this is what I personally believe by experience. Okay. This is something I believe, and it's a story. I'm just going to tell you the story. I've said it on my channel. I'll say it again right here. I think it's important because disregard necessarily the details. If you believe in these details, that's fine. But the point of the story is what I actually believe. So God's going to make man. He decides he's going to create an ambitious creature, a very intelligent, a wise, an ambitious, persistent, persevering creature. And he's going to call him man, makes him in his own image. And the devil hears about this creature that God's going to make. And he starts to ponder, when God makes this man, where can I hide God that man will never find him? He thinks long and hard and says, I know what I'll do. I'll hide God beneath the rocks, beneath the depths of the earth. Man will never find him there. And he thinks long and hard. He's going to be persistent, persevering. He's going to be ambitious, intelligent. He'll unearth the rock, remove the dirt. He'll find God. I can't hide him there. No. Where can I hide him? Oh, I'll hide him beneath the oceans, beneath the seas. I'll bury God beneath the sand. Man will never find him there. And he thinks long and hard and says, man will find an apparatus. He's persistent. He's brilliant. He's intelligent. He's ambitious. He's great. He'll find a way to get beneath the water. He'll sweep away the sands of the sea. He'll find God. So the devil decides, I'll think long and hard on this one. I really have to come up with a good one to hide God from man. As he thinks long and hard, a light bulb goes off. And he realizes right then and there, I know what I'll do. I'll hide God inside of every single person that ever comes to be. And man will always be looking outward to try and find this being, this power, this source. He'll always be looking out, trying to find it, and never look inside and realize it was there the whole time. That is what I believe. I found it, whatever that is. Now, to a person who doesn't even believe at all, this can be explained. To someone who does believe, this can be explained, and it can be believed, and it can work, and it's practical, and it makes sense because I experience it, I feel it, and it's a power that keeps me clean. Almost 4 years. On the 25th of October, I'll be clean 4 years. And I am still perplexed at, you can't have me explain what this is and know for a fact what this is. But I'm okay with not knowing for sure. But I trust it as much as I trust myself today, because I couldn't trust myself a long time ago. You couldn't trust me. I couldn't trust me. Yeah.
That's what it is. It's good, or you've heard of this, good orderly direction. Okay.
Yes.
It's like our conscious. It's our God consciousness inside of us.
Yep.
That's what they talk about. I mean, you know what they talk about, but some of the people, they're learning on my channel about that inside voice inside of us that's always been there the whole time. That kind of, we lost that voice in our addiction because we were taking these substances from the outside and putting them inside of us and dulling that voice down. I know that before, when we all first started getting high, we knew in our minds, I shouldn't be doing this. I could get in trouble. I could get caught by the law. My mom and dad won't approve, right? Mm-hmm. And the longer you put those substances into your body, the quieter that voice gets, until it's gone. I mean, I know for me, it was gone. Every now and then I would feel a little ashamed, but for the most part, I was just, and then when my son came, that's when all that shame started coming in, because then I realized, like, I'm hurting my child, and that kind of woke me up out of that drug trance. But I think so many of us get so far away from that inside voice inside of us because of all the drugs that we're putting in us that keeps on just pushing that voice down,
And it's not just for us, we would definitely relate that to drug addiction. However, I know that experience can be done for sex addiction, gambling, food, you name it, because our brains already produce many of these chemicals. Like, even if you were to talk about like psychedelics, for example, which a lot of people are iffy about, your brain already produces some of these chemicals. And this is where a lot of people have had these outer body or these really strange experiences that can be attributed to these chemicals that are already in the brain. But you bring up a good point. That to me was like you're tapping your bottom. Today, in the reverse effect. So when I was in active addiction, I avoided that voice. I really tried to hide from that voice. That voice hurt because it made you want to feel. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to feel. Whereas now in my recovery, I want to make sure I'm listening to that voice. And when I veer off the path, which I do, and I know I do, my gut right here in my solar plexus. It's not necessarily in my heart up here. When your heart will tell you, it's in my stomach, and it grabs me and it lets me know. Sometimes I tempt it. Sometimes I'll press it, but it'll let me know, and it'll go, hey, no. And I wake up. I listen to that voice, whatever that is, my own conscious, whatever you want to call it, the being that is in control of everything, whatever, that I hear it. And I know it lets me know when I'm tiptoeing on dangerous ground and I have to back up. And then I use principles, which the 12 steps use, the Bible uses, and I'll just not list the other religions. There are many other religions that use these same principles that are universal. I mean, there's a reason that they have them as 12 steps too. They took the Oxford group's 6 steps and doubled them into 12 steps. But, we got 12 jurors. There were 12 disciples of Jesus, 12 tribes of Israel. There's double 12 hours in a day, 24 hours. There's a lot of reasons the numbers say what they say, but I think there's some aspects to these ancient wisdom teachings that they incorporated into this stuff. And today I use it, man. It keeps me clean, and I like not knowing exactly what it is because it's still a mystery to me, Yeah,
I totally understand. I want you to tell everybody where they can find your channel. I want you to comment in the comment section because I'm reading the comments as we go. So if you see me looking
I
off,
haven't seen any comments on my thingy. I don't know what I was. I'm sorry, y'all.
They're like, Derek, put your name in the chat so that way we can sub to you.
Oh my gosh, I'm horrible. Okay, so hold on. Let me. I thought nobody commented. I was like, okay, maybe I'm
Well, there's been between like
super
14
boring.
and now there's 6 people in here, but there was 14 people in here at one time. And so they want to know where they can find your channel. They want to say, let me see.
Hey, y'all. I'm putting that. There you go.
There. Okay, so that way they can find your channel. Okay, so I want us to be able to, okay, so here's the tea. Here's the tea, you guys. Me and Derek are talking to each other. We have reunited our fucking recovery forces. And I want to reach out to other people in the recovery community. Rockin' Roberta, Kicking Addiction. Who else has CG Kid? It's like Jexy, according to Jexy, Megan F. And I want to do a thing where we can go on your channel, we can go on one of their channels, you guys can come on my channel. It doesn't matter to me. But on this StreamYards that I have up right now, we can have up to 7 people on here.
Oh, wow.
And we can all hang out and talk, and we could share each other's channels. And anyway, that way because for me, I really try to, when the guy comes to me and they're struggling, I try to push them over to another man because of the fact that I'm married. I don't want to, mash any boundaries, Right. I don't want anyone to think, oh, Nicole's got the hots for me because she's helping me with my recovery, And so this way, if we get all these people together, that's so many different options for people that are struggling. And we're all trying to help the person who's struggling. And now, I feel a lot better that we talked. I feel a lot better that this video is going to go on my channel because I think that for all of us, that's our mission has been the same the whole time, which is to help people who are struggling in their active addiction and help them find recovery. So I'm just really grateful that you even came on and hung out with me on my channel, for real.
Well, Nicole, I love you, and you know that it's life. We go through dips, we go through mountaintops, and I'll say it like this: you said it really good, and we've always said this. We do this to help other addicts, but let's be as base and as real as possible. We do this to help ourselves, and that process of helping ourselves by helping others, it's this amazing. A mirror effect. I'm looking at myself when I look at you, and I feel great. I feel really good that me and you are talking again, and that we've mended total misunderstandings and also mended real situations there. And so this is good. This is good. We need a community on YouTube where we can all get along and not go, oh, let me pass by that video or that channel. No, we need to. Even if we may disagree on things, let's try and get along at least. You know what I mean?
And that's how it is. Like when I'm not feeling somebody or they pissed me off, I am like, unsubscribe, do not recommend to me.
Dude, I've unsubscribed and resubscribed to your channel probably like 5 or 6 different times. You know what I'm saying?
Half the time. Here's the thing. It's because it's a misunderstanding. If we could all just text each other instead of like thinking, okay, if Derek puts up a video about Suboxone, he's talking about Nicole,
Right. I know exactly that feeling. I don't want anyone to think I'm against them too. That's at all. I talk about my experience and how I didn't have success doing it. But if I'm going to be absolutely honest, I'm not so sure I've done it the right way either. So it's not this or that. There's so many things that factor into this. It's very complex, but it's saving people's lives. And I know that some people abuse it and maybe end up in a bad spot. My wife's best friend named Elisa, she went down to Florida because they found out she had cancer cells in her breast. Now it's genetic. Her mom had breast cancer. They had to cut it. Her grandmother had breast cancer. They had to cut it. Well, they found out she had cancer cells. And so what they did is they sent her to Florida to detox off the Suboxone so she could be prepared for the actual surgery. When she came back, she overdosed. She relapsed. So she relapsed off, or she she tapered off of the Suboxone in a rehab, but then came back with nothing and relapse. I don't know the circumstances of what's happened, but according to people who I can't name that are doctors in this, they said that would not have been the proper way of doing
They
this.
should have never detoxed her off Suboxone.
Thank you. They
should have done surgery on her and then started her right back on the Suboxone, and she would have been just fine.
And I had to do the entire funeral. Now, mind you, I was a hardcore religious guy, like I said before, remember? And I had stepped away from that, became more of a spiritual thinking person. When they invited me to come, they asked me to speak. I didn't know I was going to be the pastor at the funeral. I was so nervous when I didn't prepare at all. I worked all week doing construction, which you've known I was doing that for 3.5 years. And I came back. I walk in, he goes, Pastor Lambert, welcome. Your flock is waiting for you. And I'm like, oh my God. I had to preach a message that I did not prepare for, and for an hour in front of people. And the mother, poor mother, man, she was intoxicated because she just lost her daughter. And she's looking at me. I can't even look at her. She's looking at me like, bring my daughter back to life. Like I had the power or something. I do not want that power. I'm going to tell you, like, I was trying to avoid her eyes. I was like, and trying to not look at her. It was very difficult. I was so nervous. But I just want to do like you. And I don't know, this keeps me clean. And it also helps a lot of people get a lot of positive messages. That's all I did it for. And that's all I've been doing it for. But it's become something cool. Now I have a Discord, like you have a Discord. I have a Discord. There's 900 something people in it. It's grown. We have meetings on a daily basis. We invite people if they decide they want to start their own meeting or they have a different type of platform like Smart Recovery, Red Road Recovery. We have options. They can host their own meetings, stuff like that. But right now they have NA going on in the 12, like NA from the 12 steps that goes on in the Discord. There's always something going on that we're trying to better this for people out there. People across the world, by the way, not just in America. We have people who are in Europe and in totally different countries that are in these meetings, and they're like, thank you. There's no meeting near me. We can have a meeting now online. And that's actually, I gotta give it to you that you did kind of push me back in the day to make me make certain decisions. So I owe a little bit of thank you to you for making some of these platforms the way that we shaped them in the process. So I know that you're apologetic for the way things did go down between us, but we've grown and learned a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Jason from These Four Walls is in here, and he says, I'm so proud of both of you guys. And then Jeff from the recovery, he's new to the recovery community, but he's been in here for about, 6 months now, Jeff? And he says, hey, Derek, I bet God gave you the right words. And so, yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, they enjoyed it. They enjoyed the message because at the end, she's no longer suffering, you know, and it's really comes down to that. We don't suffer anymore when we're done, you know.
This Friday, I'm going to do a live stream probably with Jeff from the recovery. Now, Jeff is on Sublocade, okay? And then what I was thinking, and that's the shot. They give them a shot once a month, and it's buprenorphine injection in their stomach, and it releases over 30 days. And then they go back in after 30 days, and they get another shot. And until it's built up enough, and that's what we're trying to find out. We're going to see if Dr. B can come on Friday so we can all talk about the Sublocade injection. But I mean, even that now that there's so many different things that can help people that are on maintenance. Maybe they can't take their maintenance as prescribed. Maybe they're diverting, selling the subs. Mm-hmm. Now there's a shot that they can have that will help them to stay sober, and they can't divert the medication, and they can't get it out of their system to go get high because it's a shot,
Wow.
So, and he's been on that for like four months, I think now. So I'm going to have him on the channel on Friday, and hopefully Dr. B can jump on with us. But my dog is literally barking his butt off. I'm going to get off here. I just want to thank you so much for coming on, because you know me, I will hold you hostage. We'll be on here for 2 hours.
Well, Nicole, thank you for inviting me on, and I'm very glad that we're going to do this. At some point, we're going to get you on my channel. We're going to record it, and get your message out there about your story. I'm not just going to be doing yours. I'm going to be interviewing other YouTubers and work my way from there. I think it's best I start with the YouTubers and work my way out into different stories, not just specific big time. Like CG Kid has focused on doing similar stuff, but I want to make it to where we can get a lot of people's stories, not just, specific people. I want to try and get a lot of stories documented.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. Call me anytime. I love you so much.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad
Love you too.
that we could come together, okay?
You too. Thank you so much. And appreciate everybody.
Y'all go subscribe to Derek's channel, okay? I love you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I gotta end this. Hey, I love you guys. I hope you have a good day. Okay. All right, you guys. I love you so much. Yes, you heard it here. Derek Lambert and Nicole Pludre back at it again. We're back on this thing together. I really wanted to come on here, you guys, and just let me tell you the tea, okay? So Derek called me on Friday and called me and we talked and I cried like a baby and it was just like the best feeling in the whole wide world because I never want to hurt anyone. I just want to help people. And so I know that I made some mistakes. I know I did, you guys. I know that I'm very aggressive. I know that sometimes I'm loud. I know that I can be overbearing. I just want to help other people find recovery. And I never meant to hurt anyone ever. So if there's anyone out there that watches this video that I have hurt you, please, please let me know so I can make it right because I never want to hurt anyone to help you guys. All right. I love you guys and I'll see you later. I hope you have a great Wednesday. Now I got to go wash my face because, of course, your girl's crying as usual. And I will see you guys Friday night for our Medically Assisted Recovery Anonymous meeting.